satanic rituals in Bohemian Grove. Sure. Now, can I get my coffee and get out of this place? Thank you. Take your medication. And then I finally actually looked. And only admitting the horror is going to stop them. They're going to keep on going. Just like people in Germany couldn't believe what Hitler was doing. All right, I'm going to go to your phone calls. Then coming up, Reuters admits Wi-Fi's frying and killing all your sperm. All part of the plan. And nobody's going to stop. It's fun dying. We'll get more into mainline political groups listed as terrorist. And, of course, under the military to be arrested and killed. And they have, just take you out, shoot you in the back of the head. They got special units for that. Of course, once that starts, people won't have a choice anymore. But the bankers are going to sit offshore. They don't care if the military and police get chewed up in a fight with Americans. They hate you as much as they hate the American people. Continuing here, just kind of the prelude to the real kickoff of everything. Just so you can make your choice, we're here, just in case you might not want to be a slave. But I know a lot of you new listeners, listen to this crazy guy. Okay, great. If you don't listen now, you'll assuredly remember later. You know, I saw articles about people collapsing and dying and being run over and being hurt, and people for hours going by the dead body at the big mega mart and not caring because they had someplace to go. So what if the guy's, dying of a heart attack, probably would have lived, and they just let him sit there for an hour after he was dead? Because they had some purchases to make. Oh, what's going to happen when you're dying? What's going to happen when you're in trouble? Well, your neighbors are going to act just the same. You've been taught how to be shallow, childlike, arrested development blobs. But there's a lot of us who aren't like that. And so just because you want to be slaves doesn't mean I get to be one. Just because you want to go along with this. And I'll never forget the Madeline lady choking. I've told the story 20 times. And they wouldn't help her while she was choking. I'd been in the bathroom. She'd been choking a while. She was now falling on the table, purple. And I had to shove the ninnies out of the way. They were like, no, we called 911. No, you're not making noises like that. Just, government rape me. I mean, this is the attitude of these people. There's armies of them. They're dangerous. And then after I'd gotten the thing out of the woman's throat, my wife's like, well, they're saying you're a hero. Let's stay. And I'm like, no, get out of here. Because they were already starting to calculate with little demons. Going, maybe he might have hurt a rib or something. I mean, I understand them. So I had to help her and then get out. Because helping them is what they don't want. Spiritually, they want to be plowed under. They hate themselves. Well, not me. I like myself. Okay? All right, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm talking to those out there who serve this weakness. Elaine in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Hi.
Hey, first of all, I just want to tell you that God used you to bring me back to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, last night, I rewatched a video that David Icke did in an interview by the name of Arizona Wilder. And I watched it again for 3 hours to make sure that my information was not erroneous. But at about halfway through, an hour and a half through that video, she starts naming names about people that were at these satanic meetings, the Royals, the Bushes, and all that, and Newt Gingrich was one of them. So it's
look, all I know is that it's in CNN today, the evidence that Sirhan Sirhan, this has been known since it happened with the RFK killing, was on drugs, was given a hypnotic drug. You go to the dentist, they give you Halcyon for, that's an amnesic. You're in a highly suggestible zombie state then. And that he was a diversion. And the police did their job and said, no, he didn't shoot him. Kennedy was shot from behind, different caliber. Sirhan's arm was pinned on the table, did not hit Kennedy. And it turned out, even BBC reported, 3 CIA guys were in the crowd the day it happened. And the guy that really did the shooting, one of the bodyguards, was CIA and worked at a skunk works operation. And they killed him. And they had a drugged up guy actually on the drugs doing it. And so that Arizona Wilder stuff, I believe she was involved in some of that. But when you really get into all the crazy stuff they see and things, that's part of the hallucinogens they give them. But Newt Gingrich is involved in these key futurist societies that are admittedly Luciferian. I mean, I read his quotes about global consciousness, the one world order, the getting rid of the family, the power seething in him. Yes, Newt Gingrich is Illuminati. There's no doubt, and I wouldn't be surprised if that interview isn't accurate. Newt Gingrich is super, super mooey bad news. I mean, he is a very demonic creature. I can look at him. He can't even cloak it. He's seething with evil. I mean, he's supported NAFTA GATT, open borders, gun control, abortion, carbon taxes, world government, end of the family. I mean, just an absolute total demon. And I've got him in the news today saying he is the real conservative. I guess Al Gore is, too. No, Newt Gingrich is a absolute goblin. Okay, I haven't gotten to your calls, as usual, but we're going to go to them right now. And then Tarpley's popping in, then we'll continue with calls. In the last 30 minutes, Dr. Jerome Corsi joins us on the latest on Iran. I haven't even gotten into that yet. Wow. Russia threatens to block NATO routes into Afghanistan, as Pakistan is already doing it. It is just crazy. Unknown snipers and Western-backed regime change, a historical review and analysis of what's happening over in Syria. Just incredible information on that front. Obviously, the Iranians storming the UK embassy. Things are heating up. Meanwhile, Rand Paul, as well as other Congress people like Justin Amish, have come out. And here's a quote: the definition of indefinite detention sections of the NDAA bill will turn the whole of the United States into a battlefield and hand the executive branch the power to have the military arrest U.S. citizens and hold them without trial. I mean, it doesn't get any more tyrannical than that. And I'm going to warn you again, they got all the good old boys to sign on to this because they said it's the brown Arabs. And they're like, we'll kill them all. And the system's like, okay, we will. Meanwhile, they actually give al-Qaeda control of major countries. It's all about imploding the dollar and bankrupting the country by design. The globalists have always hated America. This is their long-term plan. They don't do it through a frontal assault. They do it by posing as our loving, patriotic leaders that care so much about the troops. Now, we've got a lot of friends in high places. There's a lot of good people throughout the system, public and private. This doesn't have to happen. But the system has these psychos in control of it at the top, and they're able to carry it out if we don't speak out against it boldly, or if you're on the inside, leak information, bare minimum, soft sabotage. Just don't implement things that are unconstitutional. That's how you do it. Juries can say no to laws that they believe are unjust. That's constitutional. That's why they're trying to get rid of juries. There's a lot of ways to stop this. And we'd already be in great tyranny. We're already in it to a great extent, but not as bad as it's going to get. But we've held it up, and that's given us time. You've held it up to wake a lot of people up. Peter in Washington, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex. Yesterday you talked about Larry McDonald.
Yes.
And I had his picture on my wall for about 20 years, and I wonder if you could go into some detail about that, what you know and where you got the info and so forth, because...
Well, I've talked to a lot of the John Birch Society people, and, it ought to get McManus on, the head of the John Birch Society. He hadn't been on a long time, folks. Let's get him on next week or this week. And you can go research it even on Wikipedia. I don't always believe Wikipedia, but it's got all the links to the accurate documents. Very suspicious. The plane forced down, and then reports later of the people being tortured, disappearing. And that was clearly an authorized event where that happened. And he was really upset in the system because he was a good guy. And I should do a whole report. In fact, that's an idea. I've actually got a file where I put ideas. I'm going to tell the crew. I want to do in the next few weeks. Problem is I start researching and then never get around to actually doing the report. I'll do a special nightly news report and try to air it on the radio the next day about Congressman Larry McDonald.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, sir?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
It's very sad. And, of course, the telltale sign is then there was no investigation. It's just like, oh, just land it and keep the people. Sure. Very sick. Steve in Florida. Steve, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. First-time caller here. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I was just watching last night on NBC. The CFR anchor, Brian Williams, was talking about how more and more parents are opting out of the vaccine system.
You know, it's funny. One of my crew actually brought me, let me grab it, a transcript of that, nightly news propaganda on vaccines. And they said, oh, my gosh, the measles are going to be horrible. If just a few other percentage points of people don't get the shots, it's going to kill old people. And they're scaring folks, saying, if you aren't vaccinated, you'll make others who are get sick. I thought they're protected. And I've heard Dr. Dina Dell say people should be arrested that don't inoculate. What, how many shots? 100? Is 200? 300 good? Whatever these companies come out with, they lobby, and then I have to take it to protect us when the proof is they don't even protect us. So it's this idea of make it the law to take the shots. And they're even talking about checkpoints to make sure you've taken all the shots. What was your take on that?
Well, it's ridiculous, but it just really brings me to the point that we're having the biggest effect on the Illuminati in their biggest profit center, which is the medical establishment and the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, exactly. What they do is they slow kill us while they suck our money out of us. I tell you, I'm going to get to Tarpley, but stay there. I want to come back to you and then others. Stay with us. Okay. Here's some of the news that's just breaking. France's ban on GM crops was illegal. That's right. The French people don't have a right to not eat corn and other food staples that have had pharmacological attributes added to them, or that have had pesticides added to them, where the plant actually grows its own pesticide at 1,000 times the natural level that the toxic fungus normally grows. France overturns ban on GM crops. Their highest administrative body, overturned the courts. It's all administrative law. And that TSA guy was getting ready to try to go down my pants. He said, I have administrative rights. And a little twinkle in his eye, a little twinky twinkle. France's highest administrative body overturned 2 Ministry of Agriculture rulings on Monday banning the planting of genetically modified corn. And, of course, here they try to block you even having labeling. You're not allowed to even know, too. They don't want you to know. You're evil. 2 government ministers quickly said they were looking for ways to continue blocking the crop. Yeah, a lot of those elitists over there enjoy their farmland and stuff. Well, sorry. It's time to get your GMO corn. Oh, your honeybees aren't all dying? They will be soon. Don't worry. We care about you. And there's come out a report, the famous cop for pepper spraying the peaceful people sitting down, and then how they spun it and said, well, basically you're criminals for being sprayed in the face. Turns out John Pike could no longer afford his mortgage after the housing market crashed. It doesn't matter, though, if his whole future is going to be destroyed by the globalists. He loves them. It's fun to get to spray peaceful people in the face. And our media is like, that's freedom. That's freedom. Oh, taking people's private MF Global accounts, that's freedom, too. Oh, the Army secretly arresting people and going to put you in FEMA camps for life, no judge or jury? Or they can even kill you.